This guy. This guy takes all of the punches and gets none of the credit. Artanis is by far one of the most noble and heroic characters in all Blizzard games, both because of what he does for his people in StarCraft and how he helps you in Heroes. No matter where he is, he's unafraid to put his life on the line and fight against impossible odds. With high damage and a whole lot of hit points, Artanis dives headfirst into the fight, to victory or death. Garrosh would be proud. The problem with Artanis is he's an old hero in an old game. He's not weak, but as time goes on and the amount of mobility and crowd control in the game increases, the less Artanis is allowed to play. He's a big target with low mobility, hang on, going from a scary bruiser to an XP pinata with even the littlest amount of lockdown. Simple to play, in theory. Isolate and outlive your swap target. In practice, you need to know exactly what you're charging into, how to maximize his janky mobility, and micro your heart out to dodge as many skill shots as possible while still maintaining uptime on your auto attacks. Success in Artanis comes down to your mindset. Know that you may not live to see victory, and that's okay. It doesn't matter how mad your teammates are as long as you win. Courage and sacrifice will be your watchwords. If you're not almost expecting to die on Artanis, you're gonna have a bad time. Your job is to force trades. Survival is optional. For you high MMR players about to skill issue me, I suggest you reread the video's title. Everything about Artanis' kit encourages going in and staying there. His abilities and auto attacks reduce the cooldown of his shields. His second ability helps him close the distance while resetting his attack cooldown. He can easily, or accidentally, start fights using only his positioning, or get directly on top of the backline using swaps. He's a playmaker, you just need to make sure the trades are worth it. And Artanis is an unforgiving teacher. Put a few hours on him and you'll have a lot better sense of when and where to fight. Because if you're wrong, you die. Watch for cooldowns, wait for stuns, know exactly where your team is. You need them. It doesn't matter how you do it, get them in there with you. You are much more likely to survive if you all move as one. You can be isolated in an instant, and isolation is death. That said, Artanis performs extremely well when properly supported. Alright, let's hear it. Fox, Artanis can escape just fine. I hit my swap once and got away, therefore you should be able to do it every time. You're right, it's not impossible to get away, it's just really hard. And please tell me, what is Artanis' counter to a 10-second stun? Well, if you get CC chained, that's your fault. You shouldn't have been there. That's what I'm saying! We're on the same side, straw man. What I'm saying is it's easier to screw up your positioning on Artanis than most other heroes, as your best defense against this is not getting caught in the first place. What, do you think the enemy's just gonna let you leave? Wouldn't that be a skill issue for them, letting Artanis get away? Artanis' most reliable escape tool is a short-range, well-known, telegraphed, conditional skill shot. Don't miss. Look at this. Look at what he has to do to get a fair chance at running. You need to be in a good position with a valid target in the direction you want to go, and, ideally, a little space between you to get as much distance as possible, which makes hitting the swap just a little bit harder. Your target also expects this and won't make it easy for you. Compared to push E to escape. There's a reason they changed his difficulty to hard. Maybe things will be more clear when we look at his kit. The most important thing about Artanis is his D. Shield Overload activates once Artanis loses 1/4 of his health. After that, provided it's off cooldown, any instance of damage will give Artanis a healthy 5-second shield that goes on top of his health bar. The traits tooltip tells you that this is on a 24-second cooldown. This is a lie. Every basic attack Artanis makes lowers this cooldown by 4 seconds. That means your shield can reactivate every 24 divided by 4 is 6 attacks. It's actually 5 point whatever attacks because of how time works. This also doesn't take into account the other tricks Artanis has to reduce the cooldown. Now, the shield does not actually protect you from the damage that triggered it, only damage that comes after. However, if Artanis has 1 hit point and the shield is off cooldown, he will not take fatal damage. Manipulating your trait's cooldown to maximize shield uptime is a key skill in mastering Artanis. Blade Dash is a 2-part dash that deals a little bit of damage on the way out and a lot more on the way back in. Every enemy hit by either half of the dash reduces shield overload cooldown by 1 second, doubled against heroes. The dash comes out very fast and can be used as a dodge, but because you return to the point from which you dashed, any opponent with half a brain cell will simply aim at where you were. A poorly planned dash can also leave Artanis vulnerable, as it can be interrupted by stuns, roots, and displacements, cancelling the remainder of its movement. Use this to your advantage. This ability is best combined with Phase Prism. I didn't know this skill did damage. The things you learn as a content creator. Subscribe. Any hero hit with the prism swaps places with Artanis, unless the target is unstoppable, in which case Artanis gets kidnapped. The swap is what makes Artanis so threatening in fights. Positioning is everything, and Artanis attacks yours directly. Switch positions with the tank and start slapping those squishies. While hitting a raw swap is fine, you get much more from this ability if you combine it with Blade Dash. There's two tricks in particular you should try your hand at: the Quick Swap and the God Swap. Quick swapping is a little less intuitive, but can catch people by surprise. Throw the Phase Prism at your target, and before it connects, dash backwards into your team. It's more displacing than a regular swap, but getting a hang of the timing can be a bit tricky at first. And it's nothing compared to the God Swap. You hit one of these and you're hooked on Artanis for life. It moves heroes about as far as a Stitch's hook. With his Q, Artanis launches himself forward towards the enemy team, throwing out a Phase Prism at the apex of the dash. Timed correctly, the prism will hit its target while Artanis returns to his initial position. And then the magic happens. While this can put Artanis in a dangerous and isolated position, more often than not, whoever was swapped fares so much worse, as they are far less capable of surviving 4 people wailing on them than Artanis is. Phase Prism also makes Artanis unstoppable for 1.5 seconds after connecting, so it can be used as a pseudo-cleanse. You can swap your enemies over terrain and through their structures, but not through yours. All this being said, 12 seconds is a long cooldown for a basic ability. You'll really feel it if you miss. Twin Blades. Not yet. This low cooldown, low mana cost ability resets Artanis' auto attack timer, and allows him to charge a short distance towards his target, striking them immediately with 2 additional auto attacks. This ability is great for closing the gap. Additionally, activating it the second an auto attack hits will get you 3 attacks for the price of 1. Activating Twin Blades does not put it on cooldown. Instead, the timer starts when the first hit lands. Like swapping and dashing, this ability can also be used as a small way to dodge skill shots, provided there's a target in a place you want to go. Suppression Pulse is one of the best blinds in the game, lasting 4 seconds and can be cast anywhere on the map. Its large area makes it easy to hit a lot of heroes in a teamfight, and the blind will prevent a lot of damage, unless you're up against all mages, which happens a lot in Quick Match. The globability of this ability lets you scout areas and stall objectives. While Suppression Pulse covers a wide area, Purifier Beam does not. This ultimate calls down a beam of light to slowly chase a targeted hero for 8 seconds, doing fantastic damage to anyone unable to move out of its area. It can be outpaced with basic move speed, but it does prevent someone from standing still. It can target any visible hero at any time, providing that little bit of help someone might need to finish off a target. While you might not get full uptime on this ability, the pressure it applies and the 10-second reveal more than makes up for it. The upgrade at level 20 is also a lot of fun. I know I've been saying how difficult Artanis is to play. There's no doubt he's a victim to power creep, and he is very easy to punish. But I actually think he's a fantastic hero for new players to try. Artanis is a strong duelist, as long as he keeps fighting, with a stupidly high effective health pool. As long as he keeps fighting, and able to output incredible pressure to the front or back line of a team with high damage. As long as he keeps fighting. Plus, the game actually gets harder the better you are at Artanis. More abilities will be used more successfully to interrupt and kite you, and enemy players will be more keen on punishing your mistakes. Because of this, you'll become more aware of enemy abilities and cooldowns and exactly where your team is standing. He will also teach you about sacrifice, and that not every death is meaningless or wasteful. There is no better gift for your team than going in first and eating every single bit of crowd control, or holding the line as your friends escape, turning a full team wipe into just 1 kill. Even if they don't understand and yell at you, just know that it could have been much worse. Dying in victory is still victory. Even if you decide he's not for you, the game sense and micro skills you develop on Artanis can be easily and effectively transferred to other better heroes. Thanks for watching. Now I do what I must. It's only thanks to your support that I'm able to spend the time to make content for this quote-unquote dead game. If you've enjoyed my work and want to see more, consider becoming a channel member on YouTube or support me directly on Patreon. Links all over the channel and in the description. Thank you ever so much. Until next time.